All right, folks, welcome back to Back Nine coverage of our singles event here at the College Disc Golf National Championships. I am Pavvo Stubstad, once again joined by John Baker, the TD of this event.
Thanks for having me again, Pavvo.
On the front nine, we saw Grant Yoder shoot a fantastic start. He was 5 down through 5, slowed down a little bit with some pars and then a bogey on 9. We also have Zach Sisson, Evan Bestor, and Lance Haupricht on this feature card. So we take a look at some beautiful slow-mo shots here from Peter Mares, and we'll kick it off to a player profile on Evan.
It's my first time here. I didn't get to come last year, so I'm a freshman. It's a beautiful course, beautiful property. I don't think I've ever played a course this beautiful. It's a pleasure to be here. We have like Northwoods close to the Illinois State University, so we play that a lot. But we also love to do our field work out in the open, so coming here, just throwing those big hyzers, I feel very comfortable with that. So for the doubles, you know, it's all about that team chemistry. You go in there and you know that if you miss the putt, you guys are gonna have your back, and there's a lot of energy going around. So for the singles, I just try to stay way more calm and try to take more deep breaths, try to make sure that every single shot matters. I don't have my guys behind me. Coming from the Midwest, I'm used to playing in rainy, windy rounds, so I assume with the rain, there'll be some wind. I got lots of towels on me, just try to keep the disc dry. Sometimes I like to put it on the tee pad to get the foot to have a good stop on there, but try to keep the disc dry and get birdies.
All right, here we are looking at our scores from the front nine. As I mentioned, you can see Grant's hot start there. He slowed down a little, and actually Zach is only 1 stroke behind him, and Lance 1 stroke behind Zach. Evan hanging in there at even. As we start off the back nine here on hole 10.
10 is a 606-foot par 4. There's 2 hazard bunkers in play with a painted line on the right side of the fairway the entire way down the hole, wrapping around the basket, and that is OB on the right side there.
So as you can see, as is tradition out here, the basket is tucked very close to the creek, and of course you can choose to be more aggressive and get close to the bunkers to have a shorter upshot, or you can choose to play a little safer and play way out to the left, which gives you a longer upshot but takes the bunkers out of play and gives you a more straight shot into the green.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of lefty forehand holes before this one. It's nice to see that Zach gets to throw a big hyzer. Oh, and throw a big hyzer he does.
He does. That went very straight, but that's going to be a good angle to attack the green from there. Lance with the lower hyzer flip drive. That's looking good. That's kind of in the ideal landing position right there. Not playing too close to the bunkers, not playing way out to the left and giving himself an unnecessarily long upshot. That's going to be a good lie for him. Grant playing a tighter line. Can it stay out of the bunker?
Looks like he got caught by that back lip.
It did, yep. He's in the hazard. Evan has got quite an arm on him.
Wow, full flight on that disc. You love seeing the turnover all the way to the hyzer out. That was a great shot.
Wow, he's up there by that second bunker. He bit off 75% of the hole off the tee on this one at least. Very impressive. And Lance's second. Can it stay out of the creek? And it does.
That was a great second tree for him there, Pavvo.
Yeah, it was.
Whoa, electing to go hyzer line around the tree.
That surprised me at the time, too. And that's going to leave him maybe about a 50-footer. Tough to tell. We couldn't see the basket from that camera angle, but it was a little long left. Grant from in the hazard bunker throwing his third shot.
Looked like that tree just kept him right off the green.
Yep. Evan, just a little chip shot after that crush of a drive. Oh, and he turned that over, and that is OB. And you can see here where he crossed. You don't actually have to reach the creek to be OB on this one with that painted OB line that John mentioned. He was discussing with a teammate there whether this was worth it to run it or if he wanted to lay up. It looks like he elected to lay up. Beautiful putt from Zach.
Dead center in the change. There was no doubt in that one the whole entire way.
Just a couple of huge hyzers and a great putt. Not many people are playing the hole that way, I would imagine. Acknowledging the camera. Oh, Grant just leaving that one a little low.
That might have been the first miss we've seen from him in the circle or near the circle this round.
Yeah, I think so. That was right about circle's edge, and I couldn't help but notice he didn't really go through his normal routine there. And that's just taking relief from the OB line. He was not OB. He's just taking his meter relief to get better footing. And good birdie there from Lance as well. And Grant gets his second bogey of the round. Yeah, he bogeyed hole 9 as well.
Yeah, back-to-back, unfortunately, for Grant. I'm confident he can rebound from that, though.
2 bogeys, 2 birdies on hole 10. No pars. As we take one more look at that beautiful jump putt from from Zach.
Look at the spin on that disc, too, Pavvo. There was no wobble. That was on axis the entire way. That was pure.
Love seeing that. And we're on to hole 11. Nice little shorty, 228 feet, par 3. 2 options off the tee. Hyzer to the left, hyzer to the right, or I suppose turnover on either of those lines as well, but most players are probably going to go for whatever type of shot gives them a simple hyzer. And the green is a little bit tricky here as you can roll down the hill to the right if you don't play your angles correctly. Well, after I said players would go for a hyzer, I guess Zach was going for that turnover forehand on the left gap. And it's going to leave him a long putt with a steep hill behind the basket. That's a scary one to run.
Yeah, there's some significant danger of a rollaway on that one.
Beautiful shot from Lance.
Gave that a bit of a run.
Yep. And he ends up in the same spot there. Grant going for that hyzer line on the right as well. Gets a lot more ground play than I think he was expecting there, and everybody's looking at a death putt so far. Let's see if Evan can put it a little bit closer. He was going for that turnover line as well, but did not get any turnover.
Interesting. All 4 shots were in frame there. They're all going to have that tricky death putt.
And or layup. Can't blame them for making that decision, especially those that are a little farther away than the others.
Definitely not. And when you're making decisions like this, you're not only thinking about this for yourself, but your team as well. Because, again, a reminder, all these scores count towards their team total.
Oh. Yep, and that's the danger of this green. Well, 3 layups and 1 committed putt. Let's see if Zach pays the price for running that. Can he save the par? Just a tiny bit low.
Yeah, that's that was a lot of change there, Pavvo.
Yep, we got some tap-ins for par and a tap-in for bogey. Nothing too exciting on this one.
The North Cove course is beautiful. This is our 3rd year here at this property, Pavvo. Previous to that, we were at the International Disc Golf Center, and then we spent about 10, 12 years at the Hippodrome. I don't know if you ever were familiar with that property or saw that one, Pavvo.
I didn't. I have only covered this event once before, and it was last year, so same location, same courses.
Gotcha. The Hippodrome was a wonderful place. We had a lot of fabricated OB there, a lot of interesting holes. I remember back in the day we had baskets on mounds and all kinds of interesting mandos in play, and now you see that everywhere all over the DGPT and at the highest level.
It's great to see the evolution of the sport. As we move on to hole 12, which has been changed since last year. Last year it played into a little nook on the side of the hill. This year it is an island green. Everything short of this path, and including the path, is out of bounds. What the drone is flying over now is safe. The entire hillside on the right is out of bounds as well, and if any player goes out of bounds, they go to a drop zone. Up first, Lance. Dead straight shot. Just stay away from that OB on the right. Oh, and the OB long. Oh, he's good.
Checked up nicely there. I love to hear Lance's snap, too. I've noticed that on quite a few of his throws today.
Grant opting for the forehand on this one, which I like.
And that needs to sit down.
Roll back in bounds. Yeah, I was going to say, that's why I like the forehand. It seems like even if you do hit the hill with it, it's very likely to pop up and roll back in bounds. Whereas the backhand, if you fade that out, there's no way you're coming back in bounds.
Yeah. Seems like the grass had gotten a little wet by this point. We did have some rain, intermittent rain throughout the day, and I bet that really sped up the screen too.
Oh, that one did not come back in bounds, so Evan is going to be going to that drop zone, which is actually just a long putt, so it's still possible to save par after going OB. Zach going for the left-hand backhand shot, which I like, but he overcooked that quite a bit, so he will be going to the drop zone as well. And here we see that drop zone. Maybe about a 40-footer or so. Oh, I thought he had it. Sit down. Sit down. Oof. That could have been real bad if that rolled OB.
Yeah, it stayed up for a second, but luckily it didn't start rolling down that hill there, Pavvo.
Oh, well, looks like we're going to see a couple bogeys from those guys. Let's see if the guys who stuck the island can get their birdies. I don't know what happened with Grant on the last few holes, but it seems like he's not going through the normal routine for his putts that he was up until this point. Oh, and here he was wondering if he was inside or outside the circle because he wanted to step putt. So Grant kindly, with his rangefinder, stepped up and checked on that for Lance. Great birdie.
Didn't even need the step putt or jump putt on that one.
Yeah, I realized as I was saying that I didn't remember the result, whether he was in the circle or not. So I'm guessing since he did not step putt, he probably was just inside.
Zach for the bogey.
And Grant for the bogey as well. Or I'm sorry, that was a par from Grant. Of course, he made the island. My apologies. And Evan for the bogey. That's who I was thinking of.
Great putt here from Lance, and I have to say that great putt had a great mustache there in the background too. Gotta love that.
Gives you that extra power on the putt, right?
Oh, you know it.
So we move on to hole 13. This is an odd one. Only 225 feet, but completely blind off the tee because the tee is kind of tucked down in this little cove almost where you can't see anything. And then the basket is very protected by a bunch of trees very close to it.
Yeah, I think this is a testament of Andrew Duvall's course design and how he can get creative, because when you step out on this property, it is wide open, Pavvo. But his ability to find these interesting green and tee pad placements with trees in play really frames it up nicely to where you're not just throwing hyzer after hyzer after hyzer, but you actually have some blind shots, control shots, tight shots. It's really nice to see that variety here.
Couldn't agree with you more, John. I love his course design. As we see Grant throwing a nice hyzer up there. This hole really is just a hyzer.
Yeah, it is.
But what you said is still true for the most part on these courses and other Andrew Duvall designs.
Yeah, and something about not being able to see the basket, that always creates an interesting element, you know, on a hole when you just have no idea the distance. You have to trust the tee sign or your practice.
Yeah, definitely. A hole like this probably just requires some practice to get the touch down. Another great drive. Got 4 putts, pretty close. Oh, Grant just a little high on that one.
Yep, I think he overcompensated a bit. The last few were a little low, and that one he hit dead center on the band. It was a good line, though, just a little high.
I also thought it was an interesting choice to go with the kneeling putt on that one. I mean, I guess it put him more in line with the basket since he was putting a little downhill, but it's a pretty insignificant slope. That was an interesting choice to me. Anyway, 3 birdies from the other competitors, par from Grant, and we move on.
We'll have to see that slow-mo.
And after this commercial break, we'll see a quick player profile on our last player, Lance.
Oh.
It's always a dream coming out here. It's really, really cool. Just, you don't really play with all the OB and stuff back home, so it feels official for sure with all the banners and marked stuff, and then the crowd's watching too. It's really, really fun. Everybody takes it a little bit more seriously on the course too. It's a little bit more quiet than when I usually am playing tournaments, so it feels a little heavier for sure, but it's still relaxed. It's a ton of college kids, and we're just having fun. We're playing the game we love. So keep it in bounds is really my strategy. I know that I can score on a lot of those holes if I do keep it in bounds and just give myself opportunities. So really just playing safe. I know I can reach a good bit of the holes out there, so play safe, take the putts, and just attack when I can. Singles, our strategy is just don't blow up. I know last year we had a few people blow up, and I know if we all put some average scores out there, we're going to stay in it. So maybe a teammate or two can put out a good score, maybe I can put that good score out, but really just stay in contention. That's our strategy.
And we're back. Hole 14, par 4, downhill, 612 feet, reachable by big arms.
Yeah, this hole frames up nicely, and when you stand on this tee, you just want to absolutely crush it. I'd be interesting to see if we have any players turning it over a little bit too much here.
And I mentioned this in the team's coverage from yesterday, but I'll mention it again here. Last year in the coverage, we saw Robert Burridge put it about 20 feet for eagle and made the putt, and went on to win the event, as many of you know.
I believe he's also had some success on tour there, Pavvo.
I think he does, yeah.
We love seeing players that can take it to the next level and really use collegiates as their stepping stones.
And he is the perfect example of that. I didn't know who he was when I filmed him here, and a few months later, he was in a playoff with Simon Lizotte. As we've seen, Evan does have a big arm. Possibly the biggest arm on this card, if I were to guess. That one was a little high, so it stalled out.
Yeah, it was a little high, but he still got a good move on that. I think Zach can put it up there pretty far, too. Oh, the opposite of what we saw yesterday. We saw a lot of players turning it over here, and Zach put a little bit too much hyzer on this one.
Come on, get some fade. Great distance.
Hooked up late at the end there, Pavvo, didn't it?
Just a little too flippy of a disc or a little too flat of a release, one or the other, but 4 decent drives. Everyone still has a chance to birdie.
I don't think he was happy with that one.
No, that's not great. That's a long putt.
Ooh, Zach put that one on a dime. That was a great shot. I love to see our players switching between backhand and forehand so fluently. It's great to see that they all have a well-rounded game.
Good upshot there. We got a couple players in range for easy birdies. Evan up there as well. Looks like we're going to have 3 birdies most likely and 1 long look at a birdie. This could be a birdie as well. Let's see if if Lance can put it. No, he doesn't want it. He doesn't want any part of it.
I think we can look back to that feature on Lance too and see why he was laying that up. You know, he's more worried about the team play. He said he just wants to get a good solid score in. He doesn't have to blow up. He doesn't have to shoot hot. He just wants to keep it solid.
And there he is, tapping in a par. Grant getting back on that birdie train, and Zach tapping in for birdie as well. Solid form from Evan there. Love seeing that slow-mo.
Yeah, and it seems like he hasn't let that wet foot really affect him too much.
No, not at all. I had forgotten all about it. I'm sure he hadn't. And hole 15, par 3, 294 feet. The path is safe. This area between the 2 parts of the path is safe. This is one of the few holes on the course with no OB to speak of.
Yeah, let's see if they can avoid that ditch in front of the basket. That really creates almost a bunker type feel on this hole. You really don't want to land there and put your exposure disc to the wind, because more often than not, there's a headwind coming in on this hole.
I'd say that line right there is the preferred line, the forehand hyzer, or for Zach, the backhand hyzer. And come on, sit down now. All right, that's not bad.
Now, for a great shot, that didn't end up as close as he would have liked. When he let that go, I thought he was going to be parked.
Oh, man. What a rude tree. That was going to be parked, too.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. One of the few like pure lefty hyzer holes we've seen on this course so far, I'd say.
Oh, that was a bit of an early and high release for Grant there. And he's going to be down in that ditch. Interesting line choice. Just kind of crashing the trees and hoping it gets through, and it does. When I saw him lining up the righty backhand, I was assuming he was going to go Anheuser, but he kind of just threw it at the trees and crossed his fingers. Or maybe there's some line I don't know about in there. Real close run there from Evan, or Zach. I'm sorry, I keep getting the names wrong all of a sudden. And Lance up next. Just a bit low.
Yeah, if you average those two together, that's exactly where you want it. Let's see if Grant can make this. I know during the team play they had some problems with this putt. Ooh.
That's frustrating.
Yep.
All right, we got a birdie. 1 birdie. Nice drive and a good putt from Evan. And we got the other 3 players tapping in for par here.
Love to see that smooth release from Evan, really representing Illinois State well. We have 3 Midwest teams represented on this school. Then we're going all the way to Houghton, all the way up to New York.
And on to hole 16. As you can see, the primary challenge of this one is the hazard bunker immediately in front of the basket. Extremely close, so players who are afraid of that might try to play a little long, but then you can see the hard dirt there where most of this course is grass. So if you play a little deep, you can often skip to be pretty deep, and then you're putting right at the hazard bunker. This hole is actually deceptively challenging for how straightforward it looks.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see if some of the approaches will take that hazard and accept that if they get a little tap-in putt. You know, that 5 or 6 footer from the front side of the hazard isn't the worst thing.
Yeah.
But if you get on the other side of that line, then you have an easy tap-in.
Great looking line from Lance. Oh, that ended up in the hazard. That's too bad. Grant going very wide, but with the downhill, this looks good, actually.
I like this one, Pavvo.
Sit down. Oh, man. That's really unfortunate. That was almost a perfect drive. Good looking line from Zach as well.
Great shot. Now he's got some decisions to make, whether to go for this, give it a run, put the hazard in play, or just lay it up.
Well, Evan went for it and didn't go in the hazard. And here's Lance trying to save the par. Just a little low. And Grant taps in his par save, no problem. There you can really see how close that hazard is to the pin.
Yeah, you can. And we saw Zach give it a good run on hole 11. My gut says he's going to give this one a good bid, too.
A good bid, and it's in for birdie.
Nice putt.
Now, this is a close putt for Lance, but a little unnerving with the bunker right behind it. Right on the pole.
No doubt.
Saves the bogey.
It's nice to see him take his time and really go through his full routine, even on that short routine putt.
And Evan gets the par. 2 holes to go.
Can never get tired of these views of the North Cove Leisure Club there, Pavvo.
Very true. Gotta love those North Carolina mountains. Ooh, that one barely squeaked in there. You see a lot of detail in slow-mo that you don't see at normal speed.
Yeah, you love to see the English and the action on the disc in the slow-mo. That's real special.
On to hole 17, big top of the world shot. This one looks fun to throw. 569 foot downhill par 4. Once again, hazard bunker very, very close to the pin, and OB line running down the left side of the fairway there, kind of where the slope starts.
Yeah, and usually the prevailing wind is a headwind on this hole too, and it makes it a little bit more challenging because you really want to attack it, and then you end up turning the disc over too far, and the OB is on the right. There is OB on the right side of the cart path.
Zach put a good move on that. Come on, start fading. Tickled some branches there. That had the potential to be great. It's still good, but without the branch tickle there, I think he had a chance to get closer for potentially an eagle look.
Evan hung that out nicely. If that hooks up, that could be a great shot. Oh, it's hyzering back nicely.
Wow, look at that. 20 feet for the eagle putt. Grant going for the hyzer flip line, but didn't snap it enough. And wow, that tree saved him from going OB left for sure.
Yeah, looks like he got some tree love that kept him in on that one there, Pavvo.
Nice low line from Lance. Looks like he was hoping for a little bit of flip on it. Now he's hoping it sits before the OB, and it does.
You love to see him adjust for the elevation and really throw that disc down, you know, and compensate for that.
Grant chips up there. Looks like he's going to have a nice short putt for birdie. And here's Zach hoping to do the same. You notice both of them playing out to the right, which is the smart play given how close that hazard bunker is. And here's Lance. Long look at an eagle. But he is not trying for the eagle, and I can't blame him with that bunker. Just wants the easy birdie. Zach gets the birdie.
Yeah, Zach missed a short one earlier, but he's really cashed them all in since then. I haven't seen him really be shaky on the green since that one earlier.
And here's Evan for eagle.
Come on, Evan.
And he gets it. We got an eagle on the card, folks. Congratulations, Evan.
That was a great drive from Evan.
Love seeing that fancy blue graphic down in the scoreboard. And Grant taps in for his birdie as well. One final birdie tap in here from Lance. And look at that. We got better than a star frame. I believe Jeremy Colling calls it a galaxy frame.
Galaxy frame. That's a new one for me. I like that, though.
Yeah, when there's, 3 birdies and an eagle, or even 2 birdies, 2 eagles, whatever. Very impressive performance from the card overall on this one, but of course, especially from this man right here.
Yeah, when he threw that drop, Pavvo, it looked smooth, too. It didn't look like he overpowered it or anything like that, and he absolutely parked it or put it very close in the circle.
Yeah, he has incredibly smooth form, clearly gets a lot of distance without making it look like he's putting a ton of effort into the shot, which is exactly what you want. That shows he's got his form dialed.
Yep.
On to the last hole here, hole 18, par 4, 609 feet, hazard bunker there on the left that you see. Players are probably trying to land at it or to the right of it, and then an upshot into this sloped green with an elevated pin.
Yeah, for being such a straightforward hole, this approach actually catches more players off guard than I would have expected when I first played this course.
Evan playing the forehand, just trying to land short of the bunker. And that's good.
Yep.
These drives usually are pretty routine. I mean, with it being a 600-foot par 4, there's no real incentive to try to bite off a lot off the drive. You're not really going to get an eagle look anyway, so everyone's just trying to break the hole into 2 shots.
Yeah, that's a smart way to approach it. And with this being, a team event mainly with the singles in play too, they're going to try to be a little more conservative, I feel like, coming down the stretch. Secure that solid finish for their team. And this is the last time we'll see the players on this course, actually, I believe, Pavvo. They're going to head to the Gorge for the rest of the tournament after this.
Boy, I'm excited for that one. I got to cover it last year, and that course is quite a bit harder than this one, so that'll be exciting to watch.
Yep, we'll see the singles finals 13 there, and then we'll also see a round of team play to wrap up the event.
And all 4 drives, inbounds, in play, everybody in a pretty ideal position to still play for the birdie. And Grant threw that a little far left. That's going to be a long, scary birdie look with that elevated pin. Evan puts that one a bit closer.
Interesting ground play there. I would have expected that one to get a little closer to the basket.
Yeah, that was weird. Zach with the forehand hyzer. Interesting ground play on that one, too.
Yeah.
The ground play is not being kind to the players on this green. See if Lance can put it a little closer than the other 3 guys. Oh, he's going way wide. I have to imagine that was a grip lock and was not his intended line.
Yeah, and if he got the wrong side of that tree, that cart path is OB on the right side.
Everyone still has a birdie look. Oh, man, that's frustrating. Grant started off the front nine so good and kind of just fell off at some point and never really got his mojo back. He kept a solid round together, but still a little disappointing. Most players at this level probably aren't too disappointed with a 5 down, but when you start 5 down through 5 and then still finish 5 down, it hurts a little bit.
Definitely. Solid finish from Lance after that bogey late in the round. 2 birdies to finish.
Yeah, my apologies for glossing over Lance's great putt there. And Zach just lays up. Evan looks like he's going for it. Oh, man, just an inch low. Oh, no.
You hate to see that after the impressive eagle on the last hole.
That's unfortunate. He almost finished eagle birdie, and now he's, looking at eagle bogey in all likelihood. Yeah, he's not trying to make that, nor should he. That's disc golf for you. There's always an element of luck. Grant taps in the par.
I love seeing these players attack this course. Man, the collegiate players, the attitude and the gratitude that they have is pretty special. We've been involved in many high-level events, but the attitude, the appreciation these players have just to be here at North Cove competing for their school, it's special. You hear the cheers in the background. That's the reality of this event. It's truly unique.
Absolutely.
Oh, you got his whole team there supporting him, rooting him on.
One more look at Lance's beautiful birdie putt. Strong side.
Look at that impressive graphic on Callie's brig back there, too.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
I love those Innova graphics. And here we see the results. You see our leader, Caleb Fennell, shooting an 11 under. We got Shane McCullen, Noah Free, and Calvin Caldwell. I believe those are the 4 players that will be on our lead card for the final 13 tomorrow.
Yeah, and Shane representing the leading team in Clemson in the D1 team division.
Thanks again for joining us. Again, I'm Pavvo Stubstad, joined with John Baker. We'll see you tomorrow.